Hey everybody, it's Bruno and welcome to MB. Click on the subscribe button below here and you'll never miss an episode. And also you can follow us on LinkedIn and on Facebook on Megapix Media. Enjoy the episode. Telling people, I've seen some of your videos and you're saying, you know what, this is kind of not a good thing that insurance companies do sometimes.
Yeah.
Whistleblower. Are you a bit of a whistleblower?
I've literally never heard someone use that term to describe me. I don't know if I'm a whistleblower because I'm not pointing out illegal activities that the insurance companies are doing, or the insurance brokers. Maybe just trying to lift the veil is maybe a term that I've used in the past.
Yeah.
Just like saying like, hey, like pay attention to this, because yeah, it's really interesting. A lot of times when people first come to me for insurance, they're just looking for a cheaper rate.
Right,
and then
it's transaction.
It's very transactional. Like they need insurance because they need to get on site. They need a certificate of insurance, and then through our conversations, I'm like, okay, this is the value. And then by the end of it, we probably spent like 3-4 hours together on the phone and in person. And they see the value in it, and it's again it's just a really good feeling knowing that they're purchasing something that will actually react in the way it's supposed to.
It's interesting.
That's just the way that I interact with most people. I mean, I never ask people, like, could I do your insurance? Especially at networking events or through any of my associations or anything like that. But, I mean, I'm always there, and if you would like some help, I'm more than happy to help you. And yeah, I mean, I don't make commission at my company, so in a way,
I'm
not financially motivated to get new business.
Not great, you should.
Well, I make a healthy salary.
A healthy salary.
Yeah.
Triple that.
No.
But I'm just saying that I brought up Henish is because he helped me with something, and most of our guests that's how we meet them normally, is that they throw it out and maybe something comes back.
Yeah.
So are you more interested in being an expert, kind of an advisor?
Yeah.
Where's that line?
I guess for me,
between being an advisor and being a pushover and always being somebody's friend and never closing a deal?
I mean, that's a line that I don't think I've quite found yet, and you're right, it does get blurred quite easily. And it's probably something that I'm working on as well. I don't want to be a pushover, and I don't want to give everything away for free. But at the same time, I mean, I guess I just see it as I have to prove myself. And sometimes that takes time and it takes effort, and my hope is that, like, if I put enough out there and people see the value in working with me, that I am honest and ethical and I'm humble, and hopefully they'll want to do business with me, and they'll be good clients too. Again, they're not just looking for the lowest dollar, and they're not going to make sure that I'm cutting my commission for my company down to the bone or anything like that. Like, they're good clients, they pay their bills, and they are very communicative with me on their different business dealings. So it's a benefit for me because I end up getting really good clients. There's so much uncertainty right now in insurance, and I think one of the biggest things too is it's not even happening in Canada. It's some of the I want to call it natural tragedies that are happening all over the world. For example, the California fires that happened, I think it was last year.
Sure.
The reason that's affecting
almost
us,
every year.
Yeah.
Even in Kelowna and those, I mean...
Right. Yeah, it seems to happen on such a regular basis too, different tragedies. And it affects us here in Canada and Alberta as well, just because there's what we call reinsurance companies, and those reinsurance companies are global. So if there's a tragedy where they end up having to pay out a lot in insurance claims somewhere in the US, it still affects us here in Canada. So that's one of the reasons that our insurance premiums, our yearly premiums, have been going up, because our reinsurance companies are charging more. So then our insurance companies have to charge more. So it's a domino effect for sure. Conversation with somebody, I think it was yesterday, and they own a landfill. And they never have had what we call pollution liability or environmental impairment liability insurance. They suddenly need it because the bank is requiring it. So they ended up calling me. I'm the 5th broker that's kind of gotten in there and has started talking to him. He's already talked to 4 other brokers. All of them, I would say, are smaller brokers. They just don't, I don't think, know exactly what they're doing, and for that reason he's struggling. And that's just created like this huge bottleneck for him, and all the brokers are tripping over each other. For something like pollution liability for a landfill that does takes in hazardous waste product,
Okay.
There's only like 4 insurance companies in like Canada and the UK that will even look at that and quote it. So if you're calling multiple brokers, they end up tripping over each other and blocking themselves out, as we call it. So that's probably the biggest thing that I see that clients do to themselves. They think that they're doing their due diligence. In this case, it's a controller. He thinks he's doing his due diligence for his company by getting multiple quotes from multiple brokers, but in reality, I mean, it's creating a little bit of a headache for him. So yeah, that's probably the biggest issue right now that I see with my clients. And usually what I do is I'll educate them. Like this is like the reality and this is what you need to do. And then they're like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that. And then I fix it for them, but yeah.
So what you're saying is maybe not really understanding what they need, and they just shop things around as if it's an absolute commodity.
Yeah, I think that the issue is that they don't always understand the process, which is fair because they're not in the industry. So for that reason, they maybe make decisions that are counterproductive for the end goal.
Would you suggest to, say, the CFOs of the world and the operation manager, facility managers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera,
Yeah.
to maybe obviously watch your videos, but is there something they can do to educate themselves on the process?
It's really tough. I mean, like anytime that you're talking to an insurance broker, I mean, they have an ulterior motive. They want your business. So, I mean, yeah, watching my videos is probably a really good way to get objective advice. That's, I guess, is the biggest thing, is looking for objective advice. I don't really have a good answer for you, actually, and I'm really sorry about that.
Well, that's our next episode.
Yeah, I guess so.
How to go through the due diligence process. That's a big problem in a lot of companies, because you expect your procurement people or your accounting people to be experts in everything.
Yes.
And what kind of risks does that present in your mind?
I mean, if anyone thinks that they're an expert, and they probably are in a lot of ways, but they take that attitude when it comes to insurance, I would say that there's a good chance that you're not an expert when it comes to the insurance industry. I'm in the insurance industry, and it's a moving target. Things are constantly changing. And again, actually, I'll go back to that landfill example that I gave just a little while ago. So I was talking to that controller, and I was like, so please send me over all the relevant legislative acts that are related to your industry and that you have to follow. The insurance companies want to see that. And I was like, I could go out there and try and find it myself. But in reality, I'm not in your industry, so I'm just not fully aware. And if there's a change in your industry, like, I'm not going to be the first person to find out about it. So that's probably the biggest thing I would say, is that if you're not in the industry, it's kind of hard to keep up with all the changing trends. And yeah, I guess it is good to get advice from a bunch of different people, but then once you find that person that you can trust and can be your advisor and your broker partner, I would say hopefully you trust them and stay with them for the long term.
Speaking about partnering, it's one of those things that some people say that in the insurance business that I'm a specialist in your industry.
Right.
Okay. How much can we trust that? Because you have a whole bunch of new people coming around and saying, give me a shot at your business, give me a shot at your business. But they are the experts. Yeah. Or at least that's what the poster says.
I mean, it's tough to say. And again, I would say, like, anyone who is like an expert in your business, maybe they're an expert in doing the insurance for that business. Like one of my coworkers, for example, he used to own an oil and gas company, and it was a pretty big earthworks company. And is he still an expert in earthworks and oil and gas? I don't know. Like, I don't know how much he's been keeping up with that. So I mean, they're probably an expert in getting the insurance for that industry, and that's not a bad thing. But I would say that hopefully they're keeping good company and people that are actually still in the industry, so they can keep up with the trends and the changes that are going on.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, if you want someone to be our next guest, simple. Click below in the description and we'll get in touch with them. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe, and you'll never ever miss another episode.